Hi Capricorn, welcome to your August 2020 love reading. It's Rena here. I think Capricorns tend to be traditional. Of course, there are some with a lot of Aquarius energy that might beg to differ. But this deck that I'm working with, the Ethereal Tarot, seems to me to remind me of the past. And look at the back of it, and therefore I think that you might appreciate this. So I'm just going to spread these out. I haven't done this very often lately, but I'm going to try something new. So I've devised a spread. I'll tell you about it after I pick the cards. This is for single as well as those who are in a relationship. Wow. Very interesting. And I'm getting major arcana cards with the earth signs. Wow. Maybe because the Virgo, the sun in Virgo in August. I don't know. Very interesting. Oops. I have to plug this in right away because this will go out on me. Excuse me. So the matter at hand is the Nine of Swords. I mean, this is very faithful to the Rider-Waite. Oh, look, there's like these demons. And the reason that they use bedtime, this can be a card of insomnia, but the insomnia is being driven by anxiety. It's a card of anxiety. Now, anxiety is one of those things that has many different causes, and there, it's not just one thing. A single Capricorn person who, let's say, wants to have children, a woman who's 35, and she has a career going, and she's full of anxiety because she wants that, but she also doesn't want to let go of her career. Or this could be also somebody who is married or, in a serious relationship and, excuse me, feels pressured. Even though Capricorn is a traditional sign and very family-oriented, you are the ruler of the 10th house of career. So that is always going to be something that plays a part in your life. Even if you're a homemaker, your entire adult life, you may approach it like a profession, rather than just feel like, oh, it's nothing. You might take great pride in it, and you might really want to do the best job you can. This card is about, sometimes these fears are due to a pessimistic mindset that sees the glass half empty and is always, afraid anyway. Perhaps if you are single, like I said, you're worried that you're never going to find a partner. If you're in a relationship, maybe it's an unhappy one, and that I want to specify that this reading is also for people who are coupled, but their relationship is not a good one, so that would make sense. One thing I would say as an observation of that is noting when, what triggers anxiety for you. And if it's a certain relationship, then it stands to reason that that's going to be toxic, that's not going to it's not going to be life-giving. It's actually going to be detrimental to your well-being. What has informed this reading is represented by the King of Pentacles. Now, even though drawing this card in the upright position, I'm still going to read it in the reversed position because it's connected to this center card. So if this is somebody that you're currently dealing with, either through marriage or through dating, or maybe even a father figure, this person may be a narcissist. They may be using money as a way of control. And actually, I have several cards here that connect with earth energy. So the other person may be an earth sign, and therefore the relationship is very materialistic. Excuse me. Even if they're not spending money on you, they're still excessively concerned with material things. And it's like everything has a price. And that includes you. And you have finally realized that. So if you're, let's say you're a stay-at-home mother, it could be, I'll just say parent, I won't just say gender, and your partner is the one who is working, and they may grumble, they may say they don't like their job, and you're sitting home eating bonbons, and they may accuse you of having the easy life while they're out there doing something they hate, having to take orders. That can make you feel anxious because you feel guilty. You feel like you're forcing them to do something that makes them unhappy. Something along those lines, or the person trying to control the money so that they can feel more powerful. And you may feel trapped. But this is really in your mind. Excuse me, it's the morning. I haven't exercised my vocal cords very much. It's something that you're telling yourself. So you have to, I always say the way out is in. It's not something that's going to come from the outside world to alleviate that anxiety. What you can do to remedy the situation, if you will, 9 of Pentacles, this is about financial independence, going right along with what I'm saying here. And I can't remember. Sometimes I talk about the that movie with Julia Roberts, and it was called Sleeping with the Enemy, and I saw it several times. I really liked it because I like those kind of psychological thrillers. And she's trying to get away from this creepy controlling husband or whatever. And I can't remember if she was working secretly so that she could have the money to leave. I can't remember all the details, but the point is that if you're currently in a situation where you can't just up and leave, you don't have the money, you don't have a support system that would allow you to do that, then you have to start putting things into motion so that you can get to that place where you're able to leave. And so for somebody who is a stay-at-home parent and there's no way you can, or that you want to put your child in daycare, start a business at home. Figure out, or work from home doing customer service or whatever, and be relentless in finding some sort of job or creating some sort of job. It's amazing when our backs are against the wall what kind of things that we can accomplish. But making that your goal. If you're single, the King of Pentacles could be your father, and maybe he has control over you in ways that feel very oppressive. Maybe he's very traditional, very religious, and it's one of those situations. Some cultures, you don't leave the home until you're married. So if you're a single person, I met him. I worked with a man. who was of Mexican heritage, and he told this to me, and I think I've also heard this from someone else or other people, that it's like you, and this is male because he was a male or female, you don't just like the typical American culture, you leave home at 18, or that's considered the norm. Either, most people go to college, but then they work, but you just leave home. Nowadays, because of the economy and other factors, that's going to be obviously altered a bit, but in general, that's how it's always been. And so I'm not sure if this is the case across the board, but I'm sure there are people that don't follow that. But I'm wondering about other cultural practices that are similar to that. And so if you have this kind of father who has the purse strings, or if it's a mother who is the authority figure, who wears the pants in the house, that can feel that can make a person very anxious, because you might feel like, I can't work. I've tried to look for jobs and I'm not getting hired. I don't know what to do. Come up with a game plan. Maybe if you've been filling out applications, you need to create your own business. And it can be something very simple, tutoring children. A bike delivery service where you deliver groceries by bike. You don't even need a car. Just something that you can do with little overhead. And I think Virgos are incredibly resourceful, and you would figure this out. But that's what that card represents. So something like kind of that financial independence. The influence around you that can either add or detract from what is going on. This is actually your card, Virgo, the Hermit. I would say that if you have been by yourself recently, as a single person, and maybe forced to because of lockdown, that it might not be realistic to expect to find somebody under these circumstances. However, if you're one of those people who was being very strict with the quarantine, I think a lot of Virgos might be OCD. Don't get mad at me. I have the moon in Virgo. Be kind to the moon in Virgo individual. You might have voluntarily kept to yourself, and that becomes a habit. That's the problem with it. And now that if you have been in a place where things have started to open up, you may still be reticent. And a Nine of Swords may connect to that as well. But you might also feel lonely. I don't really like the word lonely, because it almost implies that somebody else must solve this problem for the person, which I disagree with vehemently. I don't think it's anybody else's responsibility to solve our loneliness. But you get the drill. I mean, that's what the card represents. I mean, being alone. The Hermit can also be spiritual influences. Maybe you started by staying alone because of health guidelines, and then you ended up really reading a lot, maybe stuff that you don't normally read, and that led to you feeling like you're more spiritually attuned. It's amazing how these things can happen. They can come in very unusual ways, which is awesome. I love that about life. And the outcome is the Tower. And I see the Tower ultimately as a release. And actually, what's today? I'm recording this on June 10th, and the lunar eclipse in Capricorn which is your 5th house, was on July 5th. So that was 5 days ago. So this could easily be in play in August for you. The aftermath of the eclipse in Capricorn, which I believe is the last one of these series. So almost like the grand finale. And that may give you insights into your own love nature that release you from the bondage of that 9 of Swords relationship, which may be very problematic. And it could be insights within yourself or the other person. If it's within yourself, it could be, realizing, hey, I'm the kind of person who gets in wrong with the wrong people. So I'm sitting here, trying to fight off a panic attack. But I kind of brought it on myself because I have a tendency to be quite, lacking in discernment when I pick a partner, or I tend to totally go towards the person, be attracted to the person who, when we first meet is already asking me, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And I feel needed, and I need to feel needed. And that plays into this situation adversely. And wow, now I can kind of get away from that. Even if it's something in a relationship like finding out that somebody is cheating. The 9 of Swords may have you suspecting as much, but what if you really find out that this is the case? This can release you from that need to be in a relationship with somebody who's like this. Because maybe you feel that sense of guilt or obligation, and you realize that you don't have to do that anymore, that you're not beholden to someone, just because at one time it might have been okay. Maybe now it's not okay, and you're ready to move on, but you feel guilt. And this kind of that's the beauty part of eclipses, is that they can be catalysts for change in your life when you're unwilling or seemingly unable to do it yourself. And if you're single, I don't know, maybe just having that insight within yourself, that of the way, the things that you do that trip you up when you're choosing a partner. But it could also be maybe meeting someone that it's like an instant, knowing that this is the one. When I see the Tower card, sometimes I think of love at first sight. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Virgo. And if you would like a private reading, whether it be love or natal chart interpretation, what have you, please check the link below for a quick way to go to my website, which is rainamoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.